How's it going, everybody? The PlayStation Days of Play sale is running from now until June 10th, and there's a ton of absolute bangers on sale for up to 90% off. Every day I put together lists of the top games you can get at a deep discount, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Alright, with that out of the way, that's enough yapping from me, so let's get straight into it. For $24, 20% off. Dispatch is a superhero workplace comedy set in modern-day Los Angeles, where you play Robert Robertson, aka Mecha Man, forced into a desk job at a superhero dispatch center after his mech suit is destroyed. Manage a roster of ex-supervillains seeking redemption, coordinate tactical emergency deployments across the city, and shape relationships through branching dialogue choices while balancing office drama and team upgrades. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $37, 25% off. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a turn-based RPG set in a Belle Epoque-inspired world, where the paintress erases anyone who reaches her newly painted number, pushing Expedition 33 into a desperate final mission. Its reactive combat blends traditional strategy with real-time dodging, parrying, re-aim targeting, and rhythmic combo timing, letting you tailor builds through gear, skills, and clever party synergies that reward precision. It's a 92 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $29, 58% off. God of War Ragnarok follows Kratos and Atreus on a mythic journey across the 9 realms, as they seek answers and prepare for the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok, risking everything to protect each other and confront looming threat. You'll explore stunning mythological landscapes while facing fearsome enemies ranging from wild beasts to vengeful Norse gods, mastering deadly combat with Kratos' Leviathan axe. It's a 92 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $40, 34% off. Astro Bot is a supersized space adventure where Astro must rescue his stranded crew and rebuild the PS5 mothership after it's attacked by his galactic nemesis. Explore over 50 handcrafted planets filled with secrets and challenges, dash and rocket punch through thrilling obstacles, and team up with iconic PlayStation heroes while using all new power-ups and interactive environments to bring the universe to life. It's a 95 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $35, 30% off. Split Fiction is a fast-paced co-op adventure where 2 writers, Mio and Zoe, get trapped inside their own stories after a device meant to extract ideas goes haywire in spectacular fashion. Its split-screen design demands tight coordination as you and a partner swap between sci-fi and fantasy worlds, mastering new abilities, solving clever puzzles, and tackling wildly different challenges that constantly remix the gameplay experience. It's a 91 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $25, 50% off. Red Dead Redemption is an open-world Western action-adventure that follows former outlaw John Marston as he's forced to hunt down his old gang to protect his family. With a sprawling journey across the American West and Mexico, a powerful character-driven narrative, and the included Undead Nightmare expansion that reimagines the world with a zombie apocalypse, it delivers one of Rockstar's most celebrated experiences. It's a 94 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $39, 45% off. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is an open-world RPG where you play as V, a cyber-enhanced mercenary rising through Night City while uncovering the power of a mysterious implant alongside Johnny Silverhand. Explore a sprawling, futuristic city, engage in deep combat and customization, and experience both the base game and Phantom Liberty expansion while navigating political intrigue, high-stakes missions, and dangerous alliances. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 70 hours to platinum. For $30, 40% off. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is a critically acclaimed action-adventure where you play Ellie and Abby, navigating a post-apocalyptic world filled with danger, revenge, and emotional storytelling. Explore beautifully reimagined 4K environments, master tense combat encounters with a host of enemies, and experience new gameplay modes including roguelike survival runs, lost levels, and enhanced accessibility features. It's a 93 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $40, 43% off. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is an open-world action-adventure where Sam Porter Bridges embarks on a journey beyond the United Cities of America to reconnect isolated communities and prevent humanity's extinction. With vast environments to cross, strategic cargo deliveries, and supernatural threats, you'll navigate dangerous terrain while using specialized tools and player-built structures to reconnect the world. It's a 90 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 100 hours to platinum. For $20, 75% off. The Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition and Village Gold Edition bundle delivers 2 survival horror experiences, following Ethan Winters through a first-person journey of family tragedy, grotesque enemies, and tension. Across both games, you'll explore claustrophobic environments and haunted villages, solve intricate puzzles, manage scarce resources, and survive intense combat, with all DLC included. It's an 85 average on OpenCritic, average trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 55 hours to get both platinums. For $24, 60% off. No Man's Sky is a vast sci-fi adventure where you explore a procedurally generated universe filled with unique planets, alien life, and endless discoveries across a constantly evolving galaxy full of secrets and surprises. Explore diverse worlds, build bases and upgrade equipment, and pilot ships and freighters as you trade, fight, and survive dynamic encounters across an ever-expanding universe filled with danger and opportunity. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $35, 30% off. Mafia The Old Country is a gritty third-person action adventure set in 1900 Sicily, where you play Enzo Favara rising through the ranks of the Teresi crime family. Explore a dangerous, open-ended Sicily filled with rival families and opportunities, fight using period-accurate weapons like stilettos and luparas, improve your loyalty through story-driven missions filled with betrayal, sacrifice, and rising power within the family. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $40, 43% off. Stellar Blade is a fast-paced action-adventure where Eve returns to a desolate Earth to reclaim it from the malevolent Naytiba and save humanity. Slash through remnants of civilization with graceful yet brutal combat combos, explore breathtaking, highly detailed post-apocalyptic environments brought to life on PS5, and unlock a gripping, emotionally charged story filled with mysteries and shocking revelations. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $40, 34% off. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition is a massive open-world action RPG that follows Aloy into the deadly Forbidden West as she confronts mysterious new threats endangering the future of Earth. With a vast frontier of diverse biomes, combat against colossal machines, and the included Burning Shores expansion continuing the story beyond the main campaign, it delivers the full, definitive experience of Aloy's journey. It's an 88 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $21, 57% off. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a superhero action-adventure that follows Miles as he settles into a new home and steps fully into the role of Spider-Man while protecting Marvel's New York from a dangerous power struggle. Swing across a snow-covered city, master Miles' unique bioelectric venom powers and camouflage abilities, and take on fast-paced combat encounters that build on the foundation of the original game. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $30, 50% off. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice Game of the Year Edition is a brutally rewarding action-adventure set in late 1500 Sengoku Japan, where you play a shinobi seeking vengeance and honor. This edition includes the Reflection and Gauntlet of Strength boss challenge modes, Remnants allowing players to view and rate your actions, and 3 unlockable cosmetic skins, adding layers of replayability and challenge. It's a 90 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $35, 50% off. Silent Hill F is a psychological horror adventure set in 1960s Japan, where Shimizu Hinako's town of Ebisugaoka is engulfed in a mysterious fog that transforms it into a nightmarish landscape. Explore twisted paths and eerie environments filled with hidden secrets, solve complex puzzles to unlock the town's dark mysteries, and confront grotesque monsters while uncovering a gripping story of doubt, regret, and inescapable choices. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $30, 40% off. Days Gone Remastered is a gripping open-world action-adventure that plunges you into a post-apocalyptic Oregon overrun by feral freakers and ruthless human gangs, putting survival, strategy, and endurance to the test. Ride as former outlaw biker Deacon St. John on your drifter, navigating a harsh world where unpredictable weather, day-night cycles, and ever-present threats create tense, pulse-pounding encounters. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $29, 58% off. The Last of Us Part 1 is a story-driven action-adventure rebuilt from the ground up for PS5, retelling the award-winning journey through a shattered post-pandemic America. With completely rebuilt visuals and animations, refined combat and stealth encounters, and an emotionally charged cross-country journey following Joel and Ellie, it delivers a definitive version of one of gaming's most celebrated narratives. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $17, 75% off, NBA 2K26 is a basketball simulation where you build your MyPlayer legend, collect stars for my team, and manage an NBA franchise in MyNBA or MyLeague. Dominate every possession with realistic gameplay powered by ProPlay, team up with friends in immersive multiplayer arenas and online events, and shape your career, customize your MyPlayer, and manage your roster while making strategic decisions on and off the court. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, and there's a broken trophy making the platinum unobtainable. For $15, 75% off, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an open-world western that follows Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang as they struggle to survive while the modern world closes in around their increasingly fragile way of life. You'll roam a detailed frontier packed with cinematic story missions, dynamic shootouts, and immersive systems that make exploration, survival, and conversation feel natural, reactive, and full of small environmental touches. It's a 95 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 200 hours to platinum. For $37, 25% off, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake is a haunting Japanese survival horror where twin sisters become lost in an abandoned village filled with vengeful spirits, fighting back using the camera obscura, a device that captures ghosts through photography. Rebuilt with overhauled visuals, 3D audio, new filters, focus and zoom mechanics, and added side stories, it's a faithful yet meaningfully expanded revival of the beloved horror classic. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $23, 67% off, Doom the Dark Ages is a dark fantasy sci-fi prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that casts you as the Slayer in a brutal medieval war against the forces of hell. Wield devastating weapons like the Super Shotgun and the new Shield Saw, pilot a towering Atlan mech and a fire-breathing mecha dragon, and tear through demon-infested castles and hellscapes in id Software's largest, most expansive levels yet. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $37, 25% off, Ready or Not is a tense, realistic tactical shooter where you lead an elite SWAT team to restore order in a city overrun by ruthless criminals and widespread corruption, danger, and chaos. You'll plan and execute high-stakes missions, positioning your squad for precise breaches, neutralizing threats, and rescuing civilians, all while making life-or-death decisions that affect your team's survival and the success of each operation. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 80 hours to platinum. For $20, 50% off, Street Fighter VI is the latest evolution of the iconic fighting franchise, powered by Capcom's RE engine and featuring 3 immersive modes, World Tour, Fighting Ground, and Battle Hub for both casual and competitive players. Step into the shoes of 18 legendary and new fighters, each redesigned with cinematic specials, unique abilities, and a range of classic, modern, or dynamic controls to master combat at any skill level. It's a 91 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $40, 20% off, Starfield is Bethesda's first new universe in over 25 years, set in 2330 where you join Constellation, the last group of space explorers, on an epic journey across over 1,000 planets to uncover humanity's greatest mystery, with deep character customization, faction quests, and freedom to explore. Build and pilot your dream ship, engage in zero-G combat, recruit companions, craft equipment, and establish outposts across the settled systems. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 75 hours to platinum. For $29, 58% off, Gran Turismo 7 is a premium racing simulator that celebrates 25 years of the series with a deep, authentic driving experience built for both solo and competitive players. With over 400 meticulously detailed cars, more than 90 track routes featuring dynamic weather, and the return of GT simulation mode alongside competitive sport mode, it blends car culture, progression, and high-level racing into one expansive package. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 90 hours to platinum. For $24, 60% off, Hell Is Us is a tense third-person action adventure set in a war-torn, demon-haunted country where you must confront both human and supernatural threats while uncovering the shocking truth about your past. Explore a semi-open world with no map, compass, or quest markers, relying on your instincts to navigate, solve mysteries, and make choices that shape your journey through a landscape ravaged by civil war and a strange, deadly calamity. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $29, 58% off, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is an action-adventure that puts you in the shoes of Ratchet, Clank, and the new Lombax hero Rivet as they fight a robotic emperor intent on conquering multiple worlds. blast through diverse planets, manipulate dimensional rifts, and wield an outrageous arsenal of weapons, while exploring stunning new locations and alternate versions of familiar favorites in a story full of humor, art, and high-octane action. It's an 88 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $12, 70% off, Disco Elysium: The Final Cut is a narrative RPG where you play a deeply flawed detective unraveling a murder while carving your own path through the city of Revachol. With fully voiced dialogue, a unique skill system that shapes your thoughts and actions, and unparalleled player choice that lets you interrogate, manipulate, or self-destruct in unforgettable ways, it delivers one of the most original role-playing experiences ever made. It's a 92 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $24, 20% off, Cairn is a survival climber from the creators of Fury and Haven, where pro climber Ava attempts the first ever ascent of Mount Kami, freely climbing anywhere while managing resources like pitons, food, and medicine in a realistic simulation where every wall feels like a boss fight. Uncover the mountain's history, meet unexpected companions, and decide what Ava is willing to sacrifice, backed by music from the team behind Limbo and Control. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $24, 40% off, Tekken 8 is the latest entry in the fighting game series, with over 32 detailed characters with high-resolution models, featuring cinematic story sequences and interactive stages. Engage in fast-paced battles using new mechanics like heat, rage arts, and the accessible special-style control system, while exploring the story mode or customizing your avatar for arcade challenges, online ranked matches, and interactive lobbies. It's a 90 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $36, 40% off, Cronos The New Dawn is a survival action game set in a grim world where Eastern European brutalism meets retro-futurist technology, where you play as a traveler using time rifts to journey between a ravaged wasteland in 1980s Poland. Extract the essences of key people from the past using your harvester, bringing them into the future as companions, while battling nightmarish abominations that demand tactical thinking and resource management. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $28, 60% off, Hitman: World of Assassination is the definitive stealth action package, uniting Hitman, Hitman 2, and Hitman 3 into one massive collection spanning more than 20 global locations. Playing as Agent 47, you'll master the art of creative assassination with total freedom of approach, blending into crowds with disguises, manipulating dynamic NPC routines, and turning everyday objects into lethal opportunities to eliminate high-profile targets. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $30, 50% off, Lies of P is a dark Souls-like that reimagines the story of Pinocchio against the hauntingly elegant Belle Epoque, blending gothic atmosphere with brutal, methodical combat. Play as a puppet created by Geppetto, navigating the madness and bloodlust of Prat, while a mysterious voice guides you to adapt your weapons and skills, unravel the city's secrets, and choose whether to confront challenges with truth or weave lies to survive. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $20, 67% off, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a cinematic first-person shooter reboot that delivers a gritty single-player campaign alongside a massive, ever-evolving online multiplayer experience. You'll engage in intense close-quarters firefights across global locations, take on cooperative special ops missions, and fine-tune your loadouts with an extensive gunsmith system featuring deep weapon customization and tactical equipment. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $10, 85% off, Star Wars Jedi Survivor continues Cal Kestis' journey in a third-person action adventure where the galaxy grows darker and more dangerous, forcing him to confront the Empire and survive against overwhelming threats at every turn. You'll master enhanced force powers, new lightsaber combat styles, and creative ability combos to take on challenging enemies in cinematic encounters that test timing, skill, and strategy. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $17, 50% off, Sea of Stars is a turn-based RPG where you follow two children of the solstice who harness the power of the sun and moon to battle an ancient alchemist's monstrous creations and uncover hidden secrets. You'll explore lush islands, solve environmental puzzles, and engage in timing-based combat that rewards precise inputs, smart party synergy, and creative use of spells and combos across a richly crafted, retro-inspired world. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $24, 60% off. Persona 3 Reload is a reimagined RPG where you step into the shoes of a transfer student thrust into the mysterious Dark Hour, awakening powerful abilities while forging bonds that shape the fate of friends and the world. You'll explore this hidden hour, engage in turn-based combat against shadows, and balance daily life on Port Island, from attending school and part-time jobs to deepening relationships that influence the story. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $17, 30% off. Animal Well is a mysterious and atmospheric exploration game where you navigate a dense labyrinth, uncovering secrets beneath its surface while discovering a world both beautiful and unsettling, full of cryptic lore, hidden paths, and storytelling. You'll collect items to help you manipulate the environment, solve puzzles, avoid dangers, and interact with strange creatures that challenge your perception at every turn. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $24, 70% off. Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition is a psychological survival horror game that follows FBI agent Saga Anderson and the trapped writer Alan Wake as ritualistic murders and supernatural darkness consume the town of Bright Falls. You'll switch between dual protagonists, unravel a reality-bending horror story, and use light as your primary weapon while exploring haunting environments and piecing together overlapping narratives. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $20, 50% off. Outer Wilds Archaeologist Edition is a mesmerizing open-world mystery where you explore a solar system trapped in an endless time loop. As the newest recruit of Outer Wilds ventures, venture across strange, evolving planets, investigate alien ruins, decode cryptic signals, and survive hazardous environments while piecing together the ancient history of a long-lost civilization and uncovering the secrets of Dark Bramble and other celestial mysteries. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $20, 50% off. Grand Theft Auto 5 is an action-packed open-world adventure where three criminals, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, navigate the ruthless underworld of Los Santos, planning high-stakes heists in a city teeming with opportunity. You'll explore a vast, detailed city filled with dynamic events, side activities, and hidden secrets, seamlessly switching between characters to tackle missions with strategy, skill, and chaotic creativity. It's a 96 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 150 hours to platinum. For $35, 50% off. Silent Hill 2 is a haunting psychological survival horror remake that follows James Sunderland as he returns to the fog-shrouded town after receiving a letter from his deceased wife. Rebuilt with modern visuals, immersive sound design, and an over-the-shoulder camera, the town feels more oppressive as you explore expanded locations, solve puzzles, and confront manifestations born from James' fractured psyche. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $38, 45% off. Battlefield 6 is the latest all-out warfare entry, featuring a global-scale campaign across the Sahara, Gibraltar, and New York, alongside large-scale multiplayer modes including Conquest, Breakthrough, and Rush. Fight in high-intensity infantry combat, aerial dogfights, and tank battles using the new kinesthetic combat system, and unleash creativity in the revamped Battlefield Portal sandbox with NPC scripting and customizable game modes. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 75 hours to platinum. For $19, 25% off. Darwin's Paradox is a cinematic platformer and puzzle adventure where Darwin, a clever young octopus, is ripped from the ocean and trapped in a mysterious industrial complex, using abilities like swimming and camouflage to escape and unravel a far-reaching conspiracy threatening humanity. Explore visually rich levels filled with dangerous machines, strange creatures, and puzzles in a story balancing humor, emotion, and suspense. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $28, 30% off. Kina, Bridge of Spirits is a story-driven action adventure where you play as Kina, a young spirit guide exploring a forgotten village to uncover the secrets of a cursed community while helping lost spirits move on. Collect and grow a team of tiny rock companions to enhance abilities, manipulate the environment, and solve puzzles, while engaging in fast-paced, strategic combat against corrupted spirits threatening the spirit realm. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $21, 58% off. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is an action RPG set in a far future Earth overrun by colossal machines, where you play as Aloy, a young outcast, uncovering her origins and the secrets of a mysterious world. Explore lush, overgrown ruins, encounter unique tribes, settlements, and compelling companions, while facing awe-inspiring, deadly machines and rival factions in fast-paced combat using a wide array of tools and weapons. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $20, 67% off, Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, brings 3 iconic stories to a new generation, with enhanced textures, draw distances, and GTA 5 style controls for a more modernized experience. Explore bustling Liberty City with Claude, neon-soaked Vice City with Tommy Vercetti, and early San Andreas as CJ, with recent patches bringing them more in line with the original experiences. It's a 95 average on game rankings, average trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 130 hours to get all 3 platinums. For $12, 20% off, Ball X Pit is a fantasy roguelite where you plunge into a monster-filled abyss, firing magic-infused balls to survive, loot treasure, and rebuild a fallen city. Each run revolves around experimentation as you fuse over 60 randomized ball types into powerful synergies, recruit unique heroes with distinct mechanics, and battle through diverse biomes packed with hazards, escalating enemy hordes, and massive screen-filling bosses. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $32, 20% off, Satisfactory is a first-person open-world factory-building game set on a vast 30-square-kilometer alien planet where you harvest resources, construct sprawling multi-story factories, and automate production lines with conveyor belts, pipes, trucks, and trains in an ever-expanding industrial empire. Explore diverse biomes, encounter local wildlife, and build solo or with friends in co-op as you optimize your factory to perfection for Fix-It Inc. It's a 91 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 230 hours to platinum. For $36, 60% off, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Royal Edition is a richly immersive medieval RPG following Henry on an epic quest through a historically grounded 15th century Bohemia, blending deep role-playing with realistic combat, exploration, and consequence-driven choices. This Royal Edition includes the full base game, all story DLC, and additional expansions including Brushes with Death, Legacy of the Forge, and Mysteria Ecclesia. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 130 hours to platinum. For $15, 50% off, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a 2D action platformer with hand-drawn visuals, putting you in the shoes of legendary ninja Joe Musashi on a quest to avenge his clan after their village is destroyed and kin turned to stone. Master ninja arts, including the katana borozuki, kunai, ninjutsu, and ninpo to execute devastating combos, acquire amulets for enhanced abilities, and use ningi tools to overcome obstacles and uncover hidden paths. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $19, 37% off, The Midnight Walk is a dark fantasy adventure built entirely in clay, following the Burnt One and their companion Potboy as they traverse a haunting world of light and shadow. Together, you'll explore 5 interwoven tales filled with monsters that crave Potboy's flame, eerie forests, forgotten ruins, and strange beings who blur the line between friend and foe, all presented through emotional storytelling and immersive stop-motion animation. It's an 80 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $21, 15% off, PowerWash Simulator 2 is a simulation game where you blast grime, dirt, and filth from Muckingham and beyond using an expanded arsenal of power washing tools. Explore new locations like Sponge Valley, Power Falls, and Lubra City, tackle multi-stage jobs that reveal hidden areas, clean vehicles and interiors, and customize your home base with furniture and trinkets while enjoying your cat companions as perfect distractions. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $18, 70% off, Octopath Traveler is a sprawling turn-based RPG set in the enchanting HD 2D world of Orstera, where 8 unique heroes each embark on personal journeys of discovery, redemption, and fate. You'll choose one traveler and forge your own path across 8 distinct regions, mastering deep strategic combat that blends classic turn-based systems with the innovative break and boost mechanic to exploit enemy weaknesses. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 110 hours to platinum. For $24, 60% off, Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection lets you step into the legendary shoes of Ezio across 3 epic adventures, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, all remastered with enhanced graphics. Follow Ezio's journey from a young man learning the assassin's ways to leading the Brotherhood in Rome, and finally to Constantinople as he walks in the footsteps of his mentor Altair. It's an 87 average on OpenCritic, average trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 110 hours to get all 3 platinums. For 16 bucks, 20% off, MIO Memories in Orbit is a beautiful Metroidvania where you awaken MIO, a nimble robot, to explore the mysterious vessel, a massive technological ark overgrown with vegetation and rogue machines. Explore a captivating, interconnected universe full of secrets and curiosities, earn new abilities to climb, glide, and master movement, and face over 30 enemies and 15 guardian bosses while uncovering the vessel's lost memories. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For 12 bucks, 50% off, Cult of the Lamb is a darkly charming roguelike management game where you play as a possessed lamb building a devoted cult, spreading your influence and crushing heretics across an ever-changing world. Explore procedurally generated regions, collect resources, perform rituals, and train your woodland followers, all while embarking on dangerous crusades that blend combat, exploration, and clever, tactical decision-making. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For 20 bucks, 60% off, Final Fantasy XVI is an epic dark fantasy RPG where you follow Clive Rossfield, the first shield of Rosaria, sworn to protect his younger brother Joshua, the dominant of the Phoenix. When tragedy strikes, Clive is thrust into a gripping tale of vengeance against Ifrit, a dark icon whose catastrophic power threatens the land, as you journey through a beautifully realized world shaped by colossal icons and their wielders. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 75 hours to platinum. For 30 bucks, 40% off, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is an action-adventure brawler where you follow Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima through Tokyo and Osaka as their intertwined stories unfold in a gritty crime drama filled with betrayal. Explore detailed city districts, switch between multiple fighting styles, and experience expanded story content and multiplayer modes as you take on missions, side activities, and intense street battles across vibrant locations. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 140 hours to platinum. For 21 bucks, 65% off, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is a dark RPG where you play an Ahobino in post-apocalyptic Tokyo, wielding immense power to survive and shape the ongoing conflict between angels and demons. You'll experience 2 complete story paths while exploring sprawling wastelands, battling or befriending hundreds of demons, uncovering hidden secrets, and making impactful choices that determine the world's ultimate fate. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 150 hours to platinum. For 36 bucks, 40% off, the first Berserker, Kazan, is a hardcore action RPG set 800 years before Dungeon Fighter Online, following General Kazan on a brutal path of revenge with deep combat, flexible skill respecking, and a vast armory of weapons and gear sets. Conquer memorable boss battles demanding precise timing and adaptation, then extend the challenge with New Game Plus, Ultimate Challenge Mode, and Gauntlet modes Great General's Crucible and Berserker's Bloodshed. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For 30 bucks, 70% off, Atomic Heart Gold Edition is a frenetic first-person action-adventure set in a utopian world gone horribly wrong, where humans once lived in harmony with robots before technology and experiments made them rebel against their creators. The Gold Edition includes the base game and the Atomic Pass, enhancing the experience with the Annihilation Instinct, Trapped in Limbo, and Enchantment Under the Sea story expansions. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For 14 bucks, 30% off, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted brings the lane-based tower defense classic back in HD, refreshing the backyard war between plants and zombies with upscaled visuals and modern polish. You'll relive the pea-shooting, sun-collecting chaos through familiar modes alongside bonus levels, fresh challenges, and features like Cloudy Day Mode and the hardcore permadeath option, Rest in Peace, for added difficulty and strategy. It's an 89 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For 11 bucks, 40% off, Cresol Theater of Idols is a first-person horror action-adventure set on the cursed island of Tormentosa in a nightmarish reimagining of Spain, where soldier Gabriel wields his own blood as both weapon and ammunition. Explore eerie ruins and labyrinthine streets, unraveling dark folklore rooted in cults and sacrifice, while managing blood-powered abilities carefully. Every shot drains your life, balancing offense and survival. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For 10 bucks, 65% off, Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy reunites Amadeus the Wizard, Zoya the Thief, and Pontius the Knight to battle a fearsome clockwork army and save loved ones in a richly detailed fantasy world full of danger and wonder. Explore stunning 2.5D landscapes, solve upgraded puzzles, and engage intense combat solo or with up to 3 friends in local or online co-op while leveling up each hero through a new skill quest system. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $19, 25% off, Legacy of Kain Defiant Remastered lets you play as Vampire Kain and betrayed Lieutenant Raziel, each with distinct combat styles and abilities, battling through gothic ruins, ancient temples, and strongholds filled with enemies, puzzles, and dark secrets. This remaster features HD visuals, refined controls, photo mode, alternate skins, a lore reader, and unreleased lost levels, with the option to toggle between classic and modern presentation. It's a 78 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $15, 75% off, Persona 5 Royal is the definitive edition of Atlus's acclaimed JRPG, blending stylish turn-based combat, social sim progression, and story-driven exploration into a massive adventure about rebellion and personal growth. Follow the protagonist as he transfers to a Tokyo high school, awakens to eerie visions of ruin, and leads the Phantom Thieves to expose corruption by infiltrating surreal palaces shaped by twisted desires. It's a 94 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 120 hours to platinum. For $19, 75% off, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii Deluxe Edition transforms Goro Majima into a swashbuckling ex-Yakuza pirate captain on a high-seas adventure filled with lost memories and legendary treasure. This deluxe edition includes legendary crewmates, ship customization packs, iconic outfits, extra karaoke tracks, and an expanded soundtrack to enhance your pirate escapades across islands and enemy-infested waters. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $27, 33% off, Stalker Legends of the Zone Trilogy delivers a remastered survival FPS experience across 3 iconic games, Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat, bringing the haunting, radioactive zone to a new generation. Explore deadly anomalies, face mutated creatures, navigate faction conflicts, and make morally charged decisions in a dark, atmospheric world where danger and solitude define every step. It's an 80 on OpenCritic, average trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 100 hours to get all 3 platinums. For $23, 35% off. For $24, 30% off, The Alters is an ambitious sci-fi survival game where you play Jan Dolsky, the lone survivor of a crash-landed expedition on a hostile planet. Use Rapidium to create alternative versions of Jan shaped by a different crucial decision from his past, and navigate a branching narrative full of moral dilemmas, captivating character dynamics, and survival challenges while crafting items, gathering resources, and managing your base. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $30, 50% off, Until Dawn is a cinematic, choice-driven horror experience that blends the tension of a slasher film with the interactivity of a branching narrative game, delivering a suspenseful, edge-of-your-seat adventure full of shocking twists. Trapped on a remote mountain retreat, 8 friends must survive a night of terror as mysterious forces close in and their darkest secrets surface, with fear and paranoia building at every turn. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $21, 70% off, Remnant 2 Ultimate Edition is a brutal third-person action RPG where you face towering bosses and reality-shattering evils solo or in co-op with 2 friends, blending melee, ranged gunplay, and boss encounters that demand teamwork and smart skill use. Branching quests, dynamic dungeons, and varied loot keep runs fresh, further expanded by 3 DLC packs with new storylines, environments, creatures, and bonus items. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $29, 58% off, Monster Hunter Wilds is an action RPG where environments transform drastically, challenging you to hunt monsters, craft weapons and armor, and uncover connections between humans and creatures of the Forbidden Lands. Explore regions with shifting weather and periods of plenty, fallow, and inclemency where monsters adapt and demand evolving strategies, while forging bonds with partners and allies. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 120 hours to platinum. For $24, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is a third-person shooter hack-and-slash that lets you embody the superhuman and brutal might of a Space Marine, battling the galaxy's horrors with devastating weaponry and relentless tactics. Crush Tyranid swarms, defend humanity across epic solo missions, and coordinate with allies in intense 3-player co-op campaigns and PvE challenges, unlocking new skills, gear, and cosmetics. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $12, 40% off, 1000 Times Resist is a sci-fi adventure set 1,000 years in the future, where humanity has been nearly extinguished by a mysterious disease, and Iris becomes the all-mother of a society built entirely from her clones. As the Watcher, you relive her memories through communion, solving puzzles, exploring the orchard, and navigating shifting perspectives while discovering truths that challenge everything you thought you knew. It's a 90 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $26, 35% off, The House in Fata Morgana Dreams of the Remnants edition is a gothic visual novel spanning nearly a millennium, exploring tragedy, human nature, and insanity. Experience the main storyline, the prequel A Requiem for Innocence, and the sequel Reincarnation, all with enhanced voice acting, beautifully illustrated scenes, and haunting, atmospheric music for a deeply immersive, emotional, and unforgettable journey. It's a 93 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 1 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $26, 25% off, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is a complete remaster of the classic Star Wars Battlefront games, letting players fight iconic battles across the galaxy on modern consoles, both online and offline. Traverse massive locations, pilot legendary vehicles and starships, and battle as heroes and villains, while experiencing campaign missions, galactic conquest, and expanded hero assault across land, air, and space. It's an 83 average on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $16, 60% off, Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition combines the base game along with all official add-ons, including Far Harbor, Automatron, and Nuka World, offering a complete post-apocalyptic experience. Set as the sole survivor of Vault 111, you decide the fate of the wasteland, choosing whether to join rival factions or go it alone while shaping your character's story through the special system and hundreds of perks. It's an 87 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $15, 50% off, Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is an action-adventure game where you play as Jubei Yagyu, a samurai seeking revenge against a demonic army led by Nobunaga Oda, now remastered with HD graphics and modernized controls. Battle through medieval Japan, harness Jubei's Oni powers to vanquish Genma demons, and team up with allies to uncover secrets, defeat powerful bosses, and restore peace to the war-torn land. It's an 84 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $15, 75% off, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is a sprawling, critically acclaimed RPG where you awaken powerful source abilities in a world gripped by fear of magic after the Divine's death. Create a custom hero or choose from unique origin characters, engage in deep turn-based combat with environmental interactions, and shape a reactive story solo or in 4-player co-op as you challenge the oppressive Divine Order. It's a 93 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 100 hours to platinum. For $30, 40% off, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is a chilling survival horror game set on Rogetsu Isle, where a group of teenagers return to confront their mysterious past armed with only the camera obscura, a camera that can wound and repel vengeful spirits. Explore haunting locations, piece together a dark and tragic story, and survive tense encounters where every shadow and flickering reflection could hide something deadly. It's a 70 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $11, 25% off, Sectori is an intense twin-stick shooter infused with hard-hitting techno music where you carefully choose upgrades to build powerful loadouts and take on relentless enemies and epic bosses across a constantly evolving battlefield. Simple, pure gameplay with quick runs and high replayability, designed to push your focus to the limit as visuals, music, and frenetic action merge into a high adrenaline state of flow. It's a 91 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 10 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $17, 50% off, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a retro 2D brawler where the Rangers face Robo-Rita, a mechanical version of their nemesis who's teamed up with her younger self to rewrite history and stop the team from ever forming. Players battle through reimagined episodes from the original show, fighting iconic monsters and henchmen across vibrant, hand-drawn pixel art stages filled with callbacks to classic moments and 90s energy. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $28, 60% off, the Civilization VI Anthology is the ultimate console collection, including the base game, all expansions, DLC, and the full New Frontier Pass, perfect for newcomers and strategy enthusiasts alike. With Rise and Fall, Gathering Storm, 6 DLC packs, and the New Frontier Pass adding new civilizations, leaders, game modes, and environmental challenges, it offers endless strategic depth and countless hours of engaging gameplay. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $15, 50% off, Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition is a vibrant 2D platformer starring belly dancing half genie Shantae. This all-inclusive edition bundles every piece of DLC, including Pirate Queen's quest as the villainous Risky Boots, Friends to the End swapping between Sky, Bolo, and Rototops, plus Ninja, Beach, and Officer Shantae modes, all featuring the signature Dance to Transform mechanic. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $18, 80% off, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 Ultimate Edition is an action-packed warrior-style game that brings the One Piece anime to life, letting you mow down massive enemy hordes across destructible battlefields alongside beloved characters from the series. This Ultimate Edition includes the base game, 2 character passes with 6 character packs spanning Whole Cake Island, Onigashima, and 3 additional episodes with soul maps. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $28, 60% off, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is a high-octane first-person shooter that plunges players into a tense global conflict, blending cinematic storytelling, tactical combat, and fast-paced multiplayer action. You step into the boots of iconic operators from Task Force 141, taking part in small-scale infiltration missions, highly classified operations, and globe-trotting campaigns that test strategy, skill, and teamwork. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $25, 50% off, Spider-Man Remastered is the complete superhero adventure, including all 3 DLC chapters in The City That Never Sleeps, with improved textures, lighting, and faster load times. Swing through a beautifully recreated New York City, battle iconic villains, and experience fast-paced combat and web-slinging across towering skyscrapers, all while following Peter Parker's compelling story of heroism and personal growth. It's an 88 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $30, 50% off, Wolong Fallen Dynasty Complete Edition is a dark fantasy action RPG set in a demon-plagued later Han Dynasty China, where a nameless militia soldier fights for survival using Chinese martial arts-inspired swordplay and awakens a powerful force within. This Complete Edition includes the base game and all 3 DLCs, Battle of Zhongyuan, Conquer of Jiangdong, and Upheaval in Jingshang, adding new weapons, scenarios, and characters. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $15, 25% off, Death Howl is a dark deck-building RPG where grieving hunter Ro ventures into a fractured spirit world to bring her son back from the dead, crafting synergistic decks from over 160 cards focused on poison, sacrifice, backstabbing, and more. Face over 30 enemy types and bosses in grid-based tactical battles, discover shamanic totems, and meet spirits whose quests shape your journey through a mythic world of forgotten lore. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $14, 65% off, Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord is a full 3D remake of the first game in the legendary Wizardry series of RPGs. You'll create a custom party of adventurers, delve into a trap-filled labyrinth, and engage in challenging turn-based battles against monstrous foes as you hunt down Werdna and recover the stolen amulet, all built directly on the original 1981 code with modern quality-of-life upgrades. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $39, 35% off, Atomfall is a survival action game from Rebellion set 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster, dropping you into a British countryside quarantine zone filled with cults, rogue government agencies, and dark secrets. Scavenge, craft, barter, and fight through rolling hills, cult-controlled ruins, and nuclear bunkers, blending marksmanship with hand-to-hand combat as you unravel the truth of what really happened. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $18, 40% off. For $20, Metro Awakening is a gripping, story-driven VR first-person adventure that fully immerses you in the haunting, post-apocalyptic tunnels of the Moscow Metro, blending stealth, combat, and atmospheric exploration like never before. You play as a doctor navigating radiation, mutants, and deadly threats, while searching for your missing wife and the vital medication she desperately needs, confronting the line between life, death, and the spirit world. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $15, 70% off, Trials of Mana is a fully remade action RPG that retells a classic fantasy tale where the world teeters on the brink as the mana tree begins to wither and ancient evils threaten total destruction. Choose your party from unique characters, each with their own story paths, abilities, class evolutions, and personal motivations, then dive into fast-paced, real-time combat and a branching narrative shaped by your team composition and choices. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $18, 40% off, The Thing Remastered revives the cult classic survival horror shooter that continues the story of the iconic film, placing you in the frozen nightmare of Antarctica as Captain J.F. Blake amid escalating paranoia and dread. Lead a Special Forces squad through Outpost 31, fighting shape-shifting creatures while managing trust and fear, never knowing which teammates are still human and which may turn on you. It's a 78 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $15, 50% off, RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business is a standalone expansion where RoboCop returns to clean up Omni Tower, facing elite mercenaries and high-tech enemies across every floor of the skyscraper. You'll unleash RoboCop's arsenal, including the iconic Auto 9 and new Cryo Cannon, perform brutal finishing moves, and navigate destructible levels while restoring law and order in a city still rife with crime and corruption. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $20, 60% off, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics brings together 7 crossover games, including X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes, and the rare beat-em-up The Punisher. You'll battle online or in co-op and compete in ranked and casual matches with rollback netcode, while beginner-friendly features like adjustable difficulty and one-button specials ensure seamless and accessible play. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $28, 30% off, Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed is a rebuilt remake of the beloved 3D platformer, bringing Mickey Mouse back to Wasteland, a world of forgotten Disney characters, where his magic brush can restore beauty with paint or reshape environments with thinner. Improved controls, new abilities like dash and ground pound, enhanced animations, and stunning reimagined visuals offer a fresh, dynamic take on this fan-favorite classic. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. Alright, that's it for today's list, everybody. If you've played any of these already, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insights help others find great games too, it's not just mine. As always, I want to thank all my channel members for their generous support, but to all you out there who watch, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well, thank you. You're the reason I'm still having fun making all these videos every day, and I'm genuinely grateful for each and every one of you out there. If you can spare $1 a month, you get early access to all my videos, and it helps me out more than you know. But I know times are tough out there, so all I do ask is, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with any new sale stuff that I put out, leave a like, and comment down below if you've got any of these platinums or plan on going for any of them.